Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. My name is Jeff Baker. I'm an attorney in Albany, and I represent residents and people living in the vicinity of Becker Road and speaking on the proposed rezoning for the Aladdin properties. I've just given you a letter. I'm not going to go through all of the elements in that. It's in addition to the letter we presented at the public hearing 2 weeks ago, and it's specifically in response to the March 8th letter submitted by the applicant's engineer, ABD Engineering. A few salient points to note. At the public hearing last time, Mr. Bianchini stated that the rezoning was in compliance with the comprehensive plan, to which I challenged him on that. It is notable that in the March 8th letter from ABD Engineers, there is absolutely no reference at all to the compliance and compatibility with the comprehensive plan. It is, I think, well recognized that it is not consistent with the comprehensive plan. And as we stated, you cannot simply willy-nilly decide to amend the comprehensive plan without going through the necessary studies and reports associated with doing that, since the plan was just amended as recently as a year ago based on the numerous studies that had been undertaken. We are presented in the March 8th letter for the first time with the first cursory information supporting the environmental assessment in an attempt to get a negative declaration. I would submit that as a matter of law that is not adequate to go forward. First of all, it's only been presented to the town board earlier this week. We have not had a full opportunity to review it. It has not been subject to the public review at the public hearing. The maps have not been made available that are associated with it, and it cannot be put in at this late date. Even looking at it, it references, without any specific citation, previous environmental studies undertaken by the town for various projects, including the 2001 comprehensive plan and the environmental review for the McLean's project. Again, there is no specific citations of anything in there that is relevant to your review for here, nor do I understand have any of those elements been formally submitted and are part of the record of your review for this application. Most importantly, you're not being given the information necessary to determine what are the potential environmental impacts associated with this rezoning. On one hand, we've been told by the applicant there are no specific plans, but yet he presents information in this letter indicating the type of activities that could happen in support of his fiscal impact analysis. But on the other hand, they're not giving information on the full range of the activities that are authorized under your zoning code for the B2 zone. The B2 zone has multiple uses, including a trucking terminal, manufacturing plants, gas stations, a whole range of activities that could be considered, which is not being presented for the information for your review. The fact that some of those uses are subject to a special use permit does not negate your obligation at the rezoning to consider those full range of impacts. Because once the property is rezoned, a specially permitted use is legally determined to be a presumptively compatible use in the neighborhood. You are making that legislative and legal finding by rezoning those parcels to allow those uses. Yes, the planning board will subsequently have some review on it, but they are starting from the legal presumption that it is a compatible use and appropriate with those neighborhoods. And you have not undertaken the environmental review to make that determination. There are references also in the letter from Mr. Bianchini about the supposed traffic impacts and the analysis that was done for the Exit 25A study. I think he's mischaracterizing what was in there. That study specifically found a dramatic increase in the amount of traffic that is generated from a B2 use as opposed to the POR use, which was adopted by this board as part of the comprehensive plan. I don't want to belabor the point. It is abundantly clear you do not have the legal authority to go forward with this on the information that's been presented. If Mr. Ivanello wants to market his property and develop it with something, he certainly has a right to do so. but he should then find a prospective developer who has a specific plan and come forward, if necessary, with a rezoning at that time associated with the plan, or demonstrate that he can come up with something that's more consistent with both the comprehensive plan and the zoning that exists. But to do this rezoning in a vacuum, to move forward in a piecemeal manner inconsistent with the comprehensive plan and a classically segmented seeker review is just patently wrong, and there's no reason to rush this thing through where you've not been given the necessary information. Let him go forward, find somebody who's interested in doing something, and give a plan that the community can review and comment on. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Anybody else privileged to the floor for agenda items?
Richard Malazinski, 402 Deer Path. I'd like to speak tonight on the agenda items 170.10 and 180.10, the neg deck and the rezoning and the amendment to the comprehensive plan. I have here a document prepared by the New York State Department of State. It's called Zoning and Comprehensive Plan. It's part of the James A. Kuhn Local Government Technical Series. And the very first page of this document, Introduction to Zoning and the Comprehensive Plan, it says New York's enabling statutes, the state statutes which give cities, towns, and villages the power to enact local zoning laws, all require that zoning laws be adopted in accordance with a comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan should provide the backbone for the local zoning law. Page 3 of this document, in accordance with a comprehensive plan, in New York, the Zoning Enabling Acts continue to require that zoning be undertaken, quote, in accord with a well-considered plan, unquote, or, quote, in accordance with a comprehensive plan, unquote. Again, zoning enabling being tied to comprehensive plans. Where a community, after a careful and deliberate review of the present and reasonably foreseeable needs of the community, adopts a general developmental policy for the community as a whole and amends its zoning law in accordance with that plan, courts can have some confidence that the public interest is being served. So what this basically is saying, that the courts are looking for the establishment of a comprehensive plan, and any time that there's a change in zoning, it has to be commensurate with what's recommended in the plan. If a city, town, or village chooses to utilize the process referencing the comprehensive plan, the resulting plan may range from a set of policy or vision statements to a very lengthy document composed of many subject-specific components, plans. Examples would be components relating to transportation, natural resources, historic resources, or population statistics. Once an actual plan is adopted, however, all land use regulations must be in accordance with it. Once the comprehensive plan is adopted using the state zoning enabling statutes, all land use regulations of the community must be consistent with the comprehensive plan. In the future, the plan must be consulted prior to adoption or amendment of any land use regulation. The conclusion from this document: over the years, New York courts have defined the comprehensive plan to be the governing body's process of careful consideration and forethought, resulting in zoning that is calculated to serve the community's general welfare. During the 1990s, the zoning enabling statutes were amended to provide a process for adoption of a comprehensive plan, a formal